Hey everyone, this is Doug Jankowski with the Grizzled Geek, and this is my spoiler review of The Mandalorian. So I just got done watching the first episode, and I gotta say, it is fantastic. Um, not, I don't know where to start with this. So good. Let's start with the environment. It is the perfect representation of the Star Wars environment. The sets are fabulous. The aliens, the extras, the grittiness, it all. Uh, I know Jean Favreau and Dave Filoni talked about taking inspiration from the cantina scene in Star Wars: A New Hope. And yeah, definitely could see that here. You've got Jawas around, you've got Niktos, you've got all kinds of different alien races. Just all kinds of stuff that if you haven't haven't paid attention to the extended universe, you wouldn't maybe even know who some of these aliens were, would never have seen them before. So I thought that was fabulous. I was really pleased with that. Um, just the practical sets looked like like a dirty backworld, outer rim planets, all of the different environments he went to. That was also cool. It wasn't, you weren't restricted to just one environment. He went to several different planets. So you got like an ice planet, you got a desert planet, or desert like canyon type planet. You had some sort of like just backwoods, not like Tatooine backwards, but just kind of just some random settlement out in there, out in the middle of nowhere. So very cool looking environment. The characters so far are really cool. The Mandalorian was great. I know if you watch the Grizzled Geek podcast, I've said many times I hope the Mandalorian doesn't speak for a while. But they are going with him, at least in this first episode. He's a solo character. There aren't enough people around him to provide the speaking roles, so he does speak quite a bit throughout here. I mean, he does do these, strong silent type for a lot of the early encounters. He only says a few words in his first little bounty run. You get straight to the scene from the previews with the guy in the door, the Quarren in the door. So that was cool. Yeah, so let's kind of go through the whole, I guess, plot, since this is a spoiler review, so I'm gonna talk about plot details. I'm gonna talk about characters. Um, Carl Weathers was an interesting character. He's only in it for a few minutes. You kind of get the impression based on him that the bounty hunter guild's not doing great in these post-Empire times, that people are skipping buying guild bounty hunters versus just random mercenaries or whatever. So they're not getting paid well, I guess. That was really his only part in this first episode. So his part was a little underwhelming. He's there and gone pretty quickly, but he was interesting. I was very surprised. There are more Mandalorians than just the titular Mandalorian. He goes to a whole enclave of them, including an armor, which he gets some Beskar, and they make him a pauldron out of it, which is a cool plot element. I'm really looking forward to him putting his armor together piece by piece as he gets Beskar from different sources. For those of you who don't know, Beskar is Mandalorian steel, and it's only Mandalorians can work with it, and it's a metal so hard that it'll reflect blaster bolts and can even deflect lightsabers. So it's pretty impressive piece of his armor. So he gets one piece, and I'm looking forward to that idea that he collects little bits here and there, takes them to the armor, and has bits of his armor fashioned until he can have a whole set of Beskar armor. So that's cool. Long-term story building there, so I'm looking forward to that. You don't get a lot of world building visually in this first episode, not storytelling wise. You get the idea that things are a little tough for at least bounty hunters post Empire, but you don't really get anything else. You do Werner Herzog. Obviously, we knew he was going to be an Imperial officer. The stormtroopers that accompany him are kind of dirty and disheveled, which kind of hard to. Basically, he encounters stormtroopers in their armor, but it's not pure white armor. It's dirty and stuff like that. They're not taking care of it as well. They're in hiding, so it you get that, like, okay, there's some Imperials hiding out, still around, but they're kind of down on their luck too. So you got that element, but otherwise you don't know a lot of what's going on. The New Republic has not been mentioned at all. We know that the bounty hunter doesn't want to take Imperial credits because the Imperial's gone, but nothing else other than that. We encounter Werner Herzog's character, knowing he's an Imperial and seeing some stormtroopers, but don't know what they're doing, why they want this bounty, or anything else, what they're doing post-Empire, what their deal is. So that's kind of weird. We're not getting any story element there. So this was an episode that just kind of established how good the Mandalorian is at his job. That was pretty much the essence of this episode. So let's go ahead and hit some other highlights. We do only encounter, so aside from running into Carl Weathers' character, the head of the Bounty Hunter Guild, whose name escapes me right now, and Werner Herzog's character, we also encounter IG-11 and Nick Nolte's guy, the creature he's voicing, although from the looks of it, that may be it for him, just this one episode. I don't know. This episode ends in the middle of action, so it's kind of hard to tell if he's going to be around or not. He doesn't seem to, his interactions with the Mandalorian would not seem to indicate that has any interest of leaving this planet he's on. So I don't necessarily see anything going from there. But so there's a lot of characters left that haven't been explored yet. The interesting thing here is you get the impression based on the various trailers we've got that the Mandalorian and IG-11 were going to be a team, but no, they're a team for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then it turns out that their bounties were polar opposites. Werner Herzog hired the Mandalorian to bring his prey in alive. IG-11 was hired to bring it in dead, and as the IG-11 was about to execute him, Mandalorian shoots him through the head, kills him. That doesn't necessarily mean he's dead. He's a droid, so something could happen, but that's where we leave that, so who knows where it's going to go from there. We do get some comedy from IG-11, so I can't imagine that he's gone for good. They did too much to build him up for him to just be in one episode and then gone. He spends half of the time he's on screen preparing to self-destruct himself with a thermal detonator, and the Mandalorian convincing him not to do that because it seemed like they're outgunned. But anyways, it was a good establisher episode. It leaves a lot of questions, leaves you wanting to come back for answers. So it's not one of those you don't understand what's going on and you could care less. You're kind of curious as to, like, okay, so what's going on? Why is this way? What's going on? Turns out the bounty they were after is a 50-year-old member of Yoda's race, which means that it's a baby, essentially. It's not even a toddler, it looks like. So that's interesting. It's interesting that they went that route and what they're going to do with that, because we've only had a few other instances of members of Yoda's race appear, and those have all been in the Old Republic other than Yoda. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on here, because that's kind of where they leave it. They find this baby, and IG-11 was going to kill it. He's got to bring it in alive, and that's where it ends. Is him looking at this cradle and killing IG-11, theoretically. So yeah, so I'm excited. His ship looks fantastic. His weaponry looks cool. His armor's awesome. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to the story of him building his armor over time. I'm really hoping to see more interaction between him and Carl Weathers and some of the other characters. So, I think this is for a first episode. It really kind of whet your appetite for this kind of world. It does have very much a Western feel, kind of I'm not sure if A Man with No Name is entirely accurate anymore. That's what I was kind of, it had that feel of A Man with No Name, but he's definitely more character to him than, I don't want to say more character than The Man with No Name. He's more verbal than The Man with No Name. So he's less mysterious. You don't know where he comes from or anything, but he's not kind of the I don't talk and I'm never going to discuss. We already know that he was an orphan. We see those flashbacks of his parents dropping him off. They were in the middle of an attack of some sort and they hit him. The implication being they died and he was an orphan. So, he mentions that he was a foundling to the Mandalorian armorer. She said she knew. So we know that a bit about his character. We know he is not a loner in the sense of somebody like the Man with No Name. He is, he belongs to this Mandalorian enclave. He is interested in helping them out. So that's cool. So just the title, The Mandalorian, is not just referring to, he's got the armor. He's a bounty hunter like Boba Fett. Let's use that name. They are really going to dig into Mandalorian lore, I believe, in this, which also is exciting. It's going to be fun. So yeah, week 1 down, and I am very enthusiastic about this show. I'm really looking forward to where it goes from here. And I'm 8 out of 10 so far. 8 out of 10. It will probably go up once we get more information. There was, it did lack some concrete details. That's probably what I want to go with. Now, it did leave you with a lot of questions, so as long as those questions are answered, it will probably go up in my estimation as far as the show as a whole. But right now, I'm digging the vibe. I'm digging the feel. It feels very Star Wars. It feels very New Hope with that kind of Outer Rim feel. So it's going to be great. I'm super excited. Everything about the show was very cool. Well, I should say, there was one part that drew it. I was not as impressed with Nick Nolte's character. People are calling him an Ugnaught. I don't think he's not an Ugnaught. I don't know what he is. He looks somewhat Ugnaught-ish, but he's not. I think he's just a totally new race. And I wasn't a real fan of the flurbs or whatever the heck they are. They looked a little silly. And the Mandalorian trying to learn to ride one so they could, go to hunt this bounty down. It's very weird. That part, I was like, all right, this is just, we're digging deep into lore here and taking some of the sillier aspects of the Clone Wars show to get more creatures in there. Like in episodes 2 and 3 with the Acklays and the Nexu and all of those kind of creatures, whatever, the lizard one that Obi-Wan rode up the wall. I don't remember the name of that one in episode 3. Those were done way better. Those, you could believe that they were mounts, or that they were just more better done. Those obviously were movie budgets. Although this season of The Mandalorian, the 8-episode season of Mandalorian, did have a pretty huge budget, so the effects weren't bad. I just didn't feel it for those whatever. I'm saying flurbs. I don't know if that's what they're actually called, but they were silly. I could have done without them. And the character that went along with it, which I believe was the one Nate Nolte played, he didn't really add anything. It was just kind of, he was a catchphrase, the "I have spoken" catchphrase, which was whatever, okay. Unless he is going to be a continuing character, it seemed kind of a waste. It didn't really add anything to the story. He was just kind of there. Basically, maybe to tell us that, hey, people know stories about Mandalorians and think they're cool, but we should have already known that, so I don't know. That was about the only part of the episode that I was like, I could have done without this, but everything else, I liked it. It was really good. We'll definitely keep watching that. Highly recommend you do as well. Please, down in the comments, let me know what you thought. Obviously, if you're watching a spoiler review of this, you have watched the episode. Otherwise, what were you doing? But yeah, I'm curious to know, what did you like? What did you think? What did you like? What didn't you like? Do you agree on the flurbs or whatever the heck they're called? Or did you like them? Anyways, comment down below. Please hit that like, subscribe, share with your friends. We're trying to grow our subscriber account. And if you would, check the description down below. There'll be some links to ways you can help us out. Checking out our Teespring store, our Amazon affiliate link, or our Patreon. And Mike should also be doing a review so you can get his thoughts on this. And we will continue watching and giving you our feedback throughout this whole series. And hopefully the other Disney Plus items as well. Thanks, guys. You have a great night, and I'll talk to you later.